Next, we have Member Sinenci.
Mahalo, Chair, and mahalo to the resources for presenting to us today. I know you've been all busy meeting with the individual communities and community leaders. However, our committee offices often take a lot of questions from our constituents. So again, thank you for presenting to us today. My first question was, has there been residents that have expressed to opt out of the government program? And if there has, have they shared why they want to opt out?
Thank you, Council Member. Yes, we do have one in Kula who shared that their debris line item in their insurance was quite high and that they felt like it was to their benefit to attempt to do the alternative program. They did express concerns about timing. But what they are going to do is actually opt in with the right of entry and then watch and see if, as the timing plays out, if they're still able to beat the Army Corps removal, they'll do that and go alternative route. If not, they'll be already enrolled in right of entry and be able to proceed that way.
Thanks for that, Ms. Wade. Then following up on the historic buildings, I know that the county does have our own archaeologists and the mission on historic resources. Can the county use our own resources, part of the cultural monitoring?
Thank you for the question. We do a review already and have deployed signage in partnership with State Historic Preservation Division, FEMA, and our in-house team that identifies all properties that are contributing to the National Historic Landmark District. So anything above or below ground that was a contributing property to the Lahaina NHL is being documented and verified in the field as well.
Oh, okay. So Ms. Six is part of that in-house team?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then we've been receiving calls about the appropriateness of the PPEs and the Tyvek suits. Are the PPEs adequate for residents to use? I know the glasses are not actually goggles, but just safety glasses, and the gloves are just standard gloves. Are these adequate for residents?
I can speak to that. The State Department of Health has put out official guidance on that you can find on their website. But they have expressed that, yes, the Tyvek suits and the gloves as provided, and most importantly is a face respirator. So not just your regular face mask, but an N95 or better is recommended in order to prevent small particles. And that's really what you want to prevent is inhalation of small particles.
Okay, thank you for that. And then are there going to be screens, dust screens put up between the burn sites and some of the existing homes that still may house residents?
A few fences and dust screens have already been constructed. Most of that has been either through the State Department of Transportation or Maui Department of Public Works. And if Jordan wants to elaborate on that, he may.
Thanks. Yeah. So as when we get into the debris operations, these can speak to this, but there will be BMP's best management practices employed to try and control dust as activities occur. And, taking into consideration when we're working next to standing structures or structures that may still have inhabitants in the area. So those considerations will be made during the phase 2 operation.
Thank you. Thanks, Director. And then my other question was, are there alternatives to using the tasifier? We've been receiving calls about, I get it, maybe the tasifier up country, but for using the tasifier down near the shoreline might pose some issues with its proximity to the ocean. So once they use the testifiers, is it going to be quickly cleaned up?
So the EPA has provided a lot of valuable information on the tackifier. It is an organic material and breaks down very quickly. The alternative to using the tackifier, because it's being used to prevent wind from blowing up all the dust as well as erosion from rainfall, the alternative to that is just wetting the soil constantly to keep it from blowing around, which is, I know water is a very valuable resource, so that would be expensive. And I think I won't speak for EPA, but the idea is to prevent that erosion and prevent the dust from blowing around.
Great. That was my time. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I'm going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come